Hey there guys, and welcome back. On this week's show, we're going to make a Spurtle. Okay, what the heck's a Spurtle? Well, a Spurtle is one of these. Now, I saw them on Lee Valley's website, and they're selling these things for $6.50 Canadian each. And according to their little write-up, a Spurtle is nothing more than a little mixing stick popular in Scotland. I've never been to Scotland. I'm not Scottish. I don't know how true that was. Maybe someone on their site's just making this crap up. But anyway, I thought it could be a fun project. So another way to use up scrap wood, and possibly even a little stocking stuffer Christmas gift for some of you guys that are looking for ideas for this Christmas. So what we're going to start off with is a scrap piece of oak, and it's going to be 3/4 by 3/4 inches in diameter, and we're going to go with 13 inches long. Now the next thing you want to do is you want to find the center of each end of your piece. So I've got one of these fancy center finders which pinpoints your center by drawing a line at each corner. So if you don't have one of these fancy little devices, don't fret. Just draw a line from corner to corner and that'll give you your center. So find your center of each end and then center punch the center of each end. For this particular project, I'm using a spur center at the headstock and my live center at the tailstock. So you've got your punched holes that you put in, so just line it up end to end with your tailstock and your headstock there, and just crank it in till your spur center grabs hold at the one end. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to rough turn this round. When rough turning round, guys, please put on your face shields. I know some of you don't like to use them, but one of these days when you get cracked in the melon with a piece flying off, you'll know why I wear one. We have the piece of oak rough turned round, and now we just need to decide what we want to do with the handle and with the stirring end or the business end. And I'm going to make this end the business end and this end will be the handle. So I think what I'd like to do is have the handle about as wide as my hand here, and this little piece at the end is going to end up being garbage. So let's just go ahead and mark roughly what I would like to see as the thickness for the handle, and it's just a rough measurement. This is not rocket science. This is not anything that's like written in stone. You can do whatever you want. I mean, if you want a small little dinky handle on the end of that, put a small handle. For this I want it about that wide, which is the width of my 4 fingers, and that's what I'm going to do. So with that now, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to take my skew chisel, and I'm just going to make a little indentation mark at each one of those marks just to give me something to go by here. There's one. And there's 2. Now that's the mark for our handle, and what I'd like to do is I'd like to turn this here down to a smaller diameter. So I'm going to go ahead and measure this. I'd like to take this down maybe to just over 3/8, and then this end of the project will be finished. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this down. What I'm going to do is put some
marks here as far as the thickness goes, and then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to bring this down to a 3/8 thickness. So I've got my marks along here showing me the thickness that I want. I actually changed my mind and went to 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go ahead now and level this all out with the skew chisel and bring this down to the 1/2 inch thickness. Okay, now that we've got this brought down to 1/2 inch, I'm going to go ahead and sand this part here just to finish it off. So we're going to go ahead and sand it, and then we're going to work on the handle. Well, we got the business end sanded, and it's very smooth, feels great. Now we're going to work on the handle, and I don't know what to tell you here. I mean, use your imagination. Give it a little bit of shape. Have some fun with this. And that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to have a little bit of fun with it, and I'm going to try to give this handle just a little bit of shape just to make it more than a dowel. So let's go ahead and shape the handle. Well, I've got the handle section turned. I kind of like the way that worked out. What we're going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and sand this, and I might put a couple little decorative grooves here in the handle, and we'll finish sanding it up, and then we're going to part it off the lathe. Okay, so we've parted this from the lathe, and now what I want to do with this is I want to round off this end here, and we're just going to sand up the butt end of the handle itself. So for this particular instance, I'm just going to use the drum sander, and just sort of, that way I can sort of turn it and shape it, and then I'm going to sand it by hand and get it all cleaned up, and then I'm going to come back and see you. There you... I mean, and there you have it. A Spurtle. It's pretty cool. There's what the end ended up being like. Just rounded off, and we'll just sort of give you an end-to-end view of this thing, of how it turned out. I'm rather pleased with it. It's a fancy dowel for stirring porridge, but it's rather cool. Great way to use up scraps, guys. Great idea for a stocking stuffer. Get a little conversation going when your wife says, "What the hell's a Spurtle?" You can tell her the story of how it's popular in Scotland, etc., etc., etc. You might even want to do a little more research on it on the internet than what I did, because obviously I did none. But either way, I've made one, and all that's left now, of course, is a food-safe coating on this, and my choice, of course, is the paraffin and mineral oil mixture that I use on my cutting boards. So I'll be coating this up, and then giving this to the missus to stir up the next little concoction that she makes up in the kitchen. So guys, thanks for watching. If I was going to make another one of these, I'd be choosing maple just to make it a little more of a dense wood, but oak worked out really nicely as well. So like I just said, thanks for watching, and we're going to see you again next week with yet another woodworking video.